A very good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Raymond Ita, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari directs armed forces to limit operations within the constitutional framework. Federal government insists on passage of water resources bill. Of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for staying with us. We begin our news with the report that President Muhammadu Buhari. This was contained in a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, urging them to refrain from human rights abuses as a way to win the hearts of ordinary Nigerians. While addressing the over 500 delegates of senior army officers at a conference themed Building a Professional Nigerian Army for a 21st Century Security Environment, the Commander-in-Chief challenged them to focus on consolidating the achievements made so far and ensuring. In other statements, the President says his handover of power to another elected leader in May 2023 is certain, as stipulated in the Nigerian Constitution. President Buhari spoke while hosting the Minister of National Education, Preschool and Sport of the Kingdom of Morocco, Shakib Musa, who visited the State House as a special envoy of King Mohammed VI. Cordial relations between the two countries. Away from that, despite opposition by some stakeholders, the federal government has said it had resolved to ensure the passage of the controversial Water Resources Bill bodies. The Water Resources Minister, Suleiman Adamu, stated the government's position on the bill in his presentation at the 7th edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023 in Abuja. The minister accelerates the contribution of the water sector to national development. We move now to the legislature, where the Senate Committee on Appropriations has carried the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. The minister, who appeared before the panel in Abuja, blamed the affected ministers and heads of agencies for not doing due diligence when the proposals were presented to them for scrutiny before the final submission of the fiscal documents to the Federal Executive Council. Ahmed said most of these sums are bilateral or multilateral loans captured in the budgets of agencies selected for project execution for the sole purpose of transparency, noting that the totality of such loans captured in the proposed budget of the relevant agencies is 1.7 trillion naira.
Your agency. From the explanation from the permanent secretary, he said that this money has not been released. The 30 billion, nothing has been released to your ministry. At the same time, the chairman asked, is there another agency that is benefiting from this funding? And those agencies are benefiting from this money. At the same time, you said the money has not been released. How do we reconcile the two statements? 2, is it possible for a certain amount of money to be domiciled in a ministry and
coming to the question on how comes the two agencies are benefiting and then no amount, we said yes, they are supposed to benefit from it because there are projects under them, but the money was not risen. It means they've not had the money to implement the project. This is what we mean. I was asked if any of the agencies is supposed to benefit NASP, but the money was not released for that.
On the ongoing crisis between ASU and the federal government over 8 months of unpaid salaries, standing issues contained in the December 2020 FGN ASU Memorandum of Action. In a statement signed by ASU National President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke after a two-day National Executive Council meeting held at the University of Calabar, Cross River State, the union maintainer noted that the federal government was gradually disengaging itself from funding public universities across the country. Academics Corner has expressed its disappointment with the federal government, especially the Minister of Labour and Employment, over the non-payment of its members' withheld salaries, even when the government knew that the union did not call for a strike and its members were not involved. Signed by its national president, secretary and publicity secretary, Dr. Nii Somonu, Dr. Henry Oripeloye and Dr. Ernest Nwoke, respectively, said it was wrong for the federal government to lump Conwa with members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities who went on 8-month strike between February and October 2022. Conwa said the non-payment of withheld salaries was viewed to sue the federal government for withholding its members' salaries. On electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it will not fail to discuss security issues. While speaking in Abuja at a meeting with the United Nations for West Africa and the Sahel, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated that Nigeria will be making 2 paper presentations at the public. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Nigeria are among the nations that will be represented at the conference, called as a result of widespread concern over the conduct of elections. 23 general elections, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken his campaign to London, the United Kingdom, where he revealed his plans to rebuild the nation's economy, security and foreign policy if elected as president. But this came as the presidential candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, led by one family. Tinubu, who spoke at the Chatham House in London, said the challenges which have manifested themselves with regard to Nigeria's national and regional development, as well as security trajectories, are very well known to all. The APC candidate reiterated his desire to consolidate the gains of the current administration actively if he wins the February 25, 2023 presidential poll. Back here, health stakeholders have called for equal access to healthcare. Officials of the Agency for the Control of AIDS, who made the call while commemorating the World AIDS Day, emphasized the need for the state government to assent to the anti-stigma bill to prevent discrimination. Our correspondent completes the report.
The work as well as create awareness to end the spread of HIV towards attaining the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal of ending AIDS as a global health threat. To this end, officials of the Agency for the Control of AIDS have called for equal access to healthcare services.
WHO, UNAIDS, they came up with finding that until we address the issue of inequality, we cannot achieve epidemic control. So we need to make sure that all the subgroup diseases that we have.
AIDS is not respected of anybody, the rich, the poor, female, pregnant women, children, everyone can have it. So this equality talks about giving all of them equal access to the drugs, equality, they will end it.
Yes, we're making progress in HIV response, we're making tremendous progress, but there are certain issues, certain factors that are robbing us of the successes we are making, and that has to do with access to the body globally responsible for the HIV response. We decided that we need to look at this issue, otherwise our successes will not be sustained.
They urged the state government to assent to the anti-stigma bill to
remind our beloved governor. I know he has so much to handle, but let him try as much as possible to get that bill assented to, so that with that, the people living with the virus, we have some form of peace.
Some people live in denial. They don't believe that AIDS is just a natural thing that can just be picked up through unusual sexual habits. They just believe that there must be somebody that gave them AIDS, and even if they're only the stigma aspect of it. So once you have HIV, you are being stigmatized everywhere, and that's why you find to have the anti-stigma bill that will be passed so that they will not be stigmatized. Even people that go to look for a job, but once they say that you're HIV positive,
The end of HIV can only be achieved if all hands are on deck to tackle the inequalities posing as a challenge by encouraging people to get tested and ensuring access to proper healthcare. Edidion Martin, reporting for Spectrum Television.
World Cup exits. Stay with us.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common eye. Education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Iyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Good health, they say, is Summers Health Fields, as they provide you with vital information to help your day-to-day health decisions on well-being. Your wellness talk show. Well-being airs every Monday, 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Spectrum TV.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. We move now to Africa, where Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has cancelled Independence Day celebrations scheduled for Friday, December 9, and has directed Independence Day event, which was to cost $445,000, but the money will now be used to build 8 dormitories in primary schools across the country. Tanzania's Minister of State, George Simbawache, said the money has been disbursed and said the East African country will celebrate Independence Day by having public. Then President John Magufuli cancelled celebrations and diverted funds towards the building of a road in the commercial capital, Dar es Salaam. Elsewhere, South Africa's parliament has postponed by a week a long-awaited vote on whether to launch impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa's support to President Cyril Ramaphosa in the wake of the scandal, announcing that its members in parliament, where they have a majority, would vote against impeachment proceedings. ANC Secretary General Paul Mashatile said this in a news conference after complaints with the police, alleging that Ramaphosa had hidden the February 2020 burglary from the authorities and accused the president of having organized for the robbers to be kidnapped and bribed into silence. That bans anyone in the country from having extramarital affairs and restricts political freedoms, while sex outside marriage will carry a jail term of up to a year under the new laws, which takes effect in 3 years. But a raft of changes comes after a rise in religious conservatism in the Muslim majority, where the law applies equally to locals and to foreigners living in Indonesia or visiting holiday destinations such as Bali. Under the laws, unmarried couples caught having sex could be jailed for up to a year. They're also banned from living together and still on the foreign scene, Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to arrive in Saudi Arabia on Thursday for a 2-day state visit amid high tensions between the United States and the two countries. Reports say Xi's trip to Riyadh will end. Meanwhile, Beijing is yet to make an official announcement that she will visit Saudi Arabia. On our business news, Nigeria's total merchandise trade fell by 1.24 trillion naira from 12.84 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2022 to 11.59 of 2022 report released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Reports say the fall in foreign trade was influenced by the decline in crude oil exports, which fell from 5.91 trillion naira in the quarter 2 of 2022 to 4.66 trillion in quarter 3 of 2022. According to the statistics body, the top 5 imports were China, the Netherlands, India, Belgium, and the United States of America. Still in business, the federal government has said it would continue to work hard to meet its Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries crude oil production quota of 1.8 million barrels per day by the end of May 2023. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva said the federal government would continue to improve security along the tracks of the major crude oil pipelines and block every leakage through which oil was stolen by thieves and pipeline vandals. He said the inability of Nigeria to meet the current OPEC quota was not due to a lack of production capacity on the part of crude oil injects into the pipelines occurred. And now in health, a consultant pediatrician, Dr. Ayodele Rena, has urged parents to brush their baby's teeth with fluoride toothpaste and a baby toothbrush once the infant's teeth erupt. The childcare experts explained that there are no dangers in the use of fluoride. Any teeth, the parents can use water twice a day to clean the mouth of the child. He noted that it is important to brush a baby's teeth as soon as the teeth erupt to avoid tooth decay and pains, adding that some of the issues the child may suffer in the long run, like bad breath, tartar, and plaque buildup, could be as a result of not introducing teeth brushing to the child early enough. Revealed that the 507 medical doctors practicing in the state have migrated to the United Kingdom in less than 24 months due to better conditions of service. The association's chairman, Dr. Benjamin Oluwajubtu, disclosed this during an interview with newsmen, calling on the federal and state governments to address the problem area, warning that medicine might go into extinction in the country if the problem persists and is not treated as an emergency. The physician, who said there was a need for an emergency assessment and emergency meeting to curtail the problem, lamented that the quality of healthcare delivery in the country has reduced because the manpower was reduced. Would not be staying on as coach of South Korea after they were eliminated from the World Cup with a 4-1 defeat at the hands of Brazil on Monday. The 53-year-old former Portugal coach, who said he needs to think about the future, noted that it is a decision which he took in September but confirmed after the loss. Bento took over since 2010 with a last gap win over Portugal in their final group game. Well, similarly, Germany's team director Oliver Bierhoff has stepped aside 2 years early after his country crashed out in the group stage Japan in their opening game. The National Association, in a statement, said Bierhoff and the German Football Association, DFB, have agreed to terminate his contract, which runs until 2024. Former striker Bierhoff, who scored 2 goals in the Euro 1996 final, when Germany last won the tournament, had worked for the Birdies since 2004. The early called for an overhaul of Germany's youth development system before the country hosts the 2024 European Championships. On our entertainment news, Made in Lagos by Afrobeat megastar Wizkid has ranked as the 2nd song on the Billboard 2022 World Albums chart, while Burna Boy's Love Damini also ranks in the top 10. Recall that Maple Records included the record for the longest charting African album on the World Album chart. Reports say that, boosted by the hit single Essence featuring Tems and Justin Bieber, Made in Lagos is the first album to span 100 weeks record. And that's all we have time for you at this point. Do well to follow us on social media and ensure to subscribe to our @2. I am Raymond Ita. Thank you so much for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.